Okay, so now that we have our data cleaned, I'm going to show you how we can export that data into a file or into Zoho CRM. So to start, we're going to start with exporting it into a file. If you go up to the top right-hand corner, click Add Destination. This menu will pop up and it'll show you all the destinations that you can possibly go to. We want just files for now. So here we have the file name. You can make this whatever you want, and you can also select your file format. For us, we are going to do this one because we want it to be into an Excel book file. You click Save. That is going to create this new destination. With this new destination, if you right-hand click on it, you can click Run this export. Manual run is going to pop up. You just press run. And now it is running in the background, trying to download that file from or trying to create your file from all of your clean data. Once that's done, you'll see the success message. That means you are good to go. You can click download all outputs. It's going to download your file. You can then open that up how you so choose to. So now open up your CRM and move to the accounts module. So we're already on this page. If you scroll up to the button on the top right, click the drop down arrow, and you're going to see import accounts. You click into import accounts. It's going to bring you to this page where you can browse what you want to import. So if you click browse, you go over to that file that you just created and you try to import it. Next, you're going to click next. And now we want to update existing accounts and add new accounts. So we don't want to add a new account if it's already there. What we want to do is we just want to add if it's not and update if it is. Accounts are probably something that's going to have a unique name. So even though we're only uploading just the account name, we can still create accounts based on that. So we're going to find existing accounts based on the account name. And we also want this checked off. We don't want to update any empty values for existing content accounts. So if we find a matching account and we only have the one column, don't update that account with just blank values. So that you want to make sure that that's checked off. You click into next. And now here is where I said you might want to replace this file with your own separate file. We can see that some of the contact fields are actually getting mapped into here. Just click reset mapping, and that's just going to leave everything blank. And now if you scroll down to where fields in file says account, you're going to make that map to account name. And just confirm that everything else is blank because you don't want to update any account information with your contact information. Once that's done, you can click next. Yes, continue. And click finish. So that is going to trigger in the background. We are now uploading our accounts from that file. Once it's done, we'll get a notification. And that notification is going to show us what was uploaded. So here we have the notification. If I click into this, it's now showing me all the different accounts that were imported. So here we go. We see all of those. Good to go on that. And now that we have our accounts imported, we can now import our contact records. So to import your contact records from the file, go into Contacts. Under the Create Contact button, click the drop down, click Import Contacts, and now you're at the same screen as with Accounts. You're going to browse for your file, and click through. So here, unlike with the accounts, we don't really have a unique separator on our fields here. If we had something called ID or something, or maybe if you wanted your accounts or all of your contacts to only have one unique email, you could probably update contacts based on that email field. But for us, we don't have anything like that. So we want to be sure that these are all new contacts, and we're going to add them as new contacts. So we're going to keep that selected. Because we're not updating any contacts, we don't really need a skip field. So we can leave that out, leave it as none, click Next. And now, once we make it to this page where we are mapping fields, we can see that a lot of the fields have already been mapped for us. So you can just go through and fill out whatever is missing. For example, we have province, it's alluding to the mailing state. Zip code, mailing code, I believe, mailing zip. And we have account to account name. So all of our fields are now mapped. Let's press Next. Assignment rules, we can leave that checked out. Trigger automation, we can leave that checked out. All of this stuff we can leave as is for now. That's something that you're going to want to think about later. So for now, we can just press Finish, and that is going to import our contacts. So just like with accounts, once that is done, we are going to get a notification. So it's done, we get a notification. As we can see, if I click into it, I can now see all the fields that were imported. If I refresh this page, we can see that we have 100 more contacts as well. And so let's find a contact here. And we can see that because we imported that account as accounts, we can see that this is clearly clickable. So like it's not just, and so we can see that because we uploaded, so now we can see that because we imported the account field first, all of these contact imports have a lookup field to that account. So I can click into this and I'm going to get pulled into the accompanying account record. If I didn't import that account record, then a lot of the accounts that you would see, if they didn't exist in your system before, they would just be blank values on your contact. So you want to make sure that you import that first so that your contacts can properly reference the account. So whenever you want to import records into a module, if you have a field that references another record, what you want to do is first import in those referenced records. So for us, we have contacts. Contacts reference accounts. So we want to make sure that we have those accounts inside the account module first. That way, when we import contacts, contacts can correctly reference the accounts. So that's going to be the same for whenever you're importing anything that has a lookup record. So before we can import in the contacts directly into CRM, we need to actually import these accounts first. So you can follow the same strategy that we used prior in terms of downloading these as a file or just importing in that file manually. Or I can show you how to do it through here as well. So if you go ahead and press transform, derive dataset, that's going to create a copy of this dataset. We're going to call this just accounts. Open that up. You can delete all the other columns because all you really care about here is just account. Add destination, Zoho CRM, accounts. Here, much like when doing it through a file, we want to both add and update. The account name is a fairly unique field, and so once we do that, we can make sure that we are adding when the account name is not there already in the system, and updating if you do find it there. For the most part, we're not going to really update anything. We're really just kind of using it so that we don't get duplicate records of an account. So let's press save here. So once you add the destination, you go back to prepare data. If you click on target matching now, show target, we want to match the account name. So click this button here, and you can keep clicking it until it's green. Now we got that green check mark. Let's go ahead and run the data now. So press that back button, right click on the CRM button, run this export, run it, and now we are running the export. So now I want to show you how you can add your data directly into Zoho CRM. So if you go up to the top, add destination, scroll down, you see Zoho CRM, click into that, and in this menu that pops up, we're going to go through the options to fill the data how we want it to. So in this menu, we go through, we can click contacts. We want it to go into the standard layout. How do we want to handle data in CRM? All right, so keep this as so when it comes to how you want to handle your data, for now we're going to keep this as only add new records. This might be something you'd want to change if you have a unique field in your data, such as ID, or in some cases, email. But for us, we don't really have any unique fields. This is all going to be new data. So once we're done that, we can click save. And now before running this, what we have to do is we have to actually match the fields on Zoho. So if we go back into this prepare data screen, there's now this target matching button. If we click into this is going to help us match the fields from our data here into Zoho CRM. So you click into that, you click show target, and now this is going to show you where your columns are going to match into. So if I click on the red X here, I can now choose the column that I want this to match into. So if you can't find it, you can try typing it. So first name, So now I'm matching it into first name for CRM. You might sometimes get this. If you click into this, it will eventually change the data type for you. Here we go. I'm just going to do this for all of the fields here and sort of explain as I go. So some of those warnings are just warnings that the data is structured a different way in CRM than it is here. So by clicking into that, it will actually restructure the data here so that it matches CRM. So salutations. And one thing to note is that you want to make sure that you have an actual existing field in your CRM already in order to match into here. So some of the fields that I have aren't actually stock fields on CRM. For example, credentials and extensions. These aren't stock fields. You do have to create them in your CRM. If you need a refresher on how to do that, we will probably have a walkthrough on how to do so. But it's very easy, and once you get that done, you can continue on with matching these fields. So you may come across a point where a field can't be matched. Basically, it's just saying that it can't really find an existing field. What you might have to do is change the name, and then it might be able to find it. So there I changed it from phone space number to phone underscore number. And now it's allowing me to choose a field. So let's choose phone. Extensions. So this is another one of those fields there I can't really match it to anything, but once I change the name to account underscore name, it now matches actually directly to account name. So this is what you want to see. You want to see all these green check marks underneath the title and the column name. That's just going to tell you that all your data is good to go and will match into a field on CRM. So now that that's done, everything is matched, we can go press the back button, right click into this CRM icon, and we're going to do run this export. And that's just going to run just that export alone. So click run again. And now it is running. We are getting our data directly merged into CRM. So now we see that the status is successful. So it has run and we are going to be able to see it into our CRM. If you would like, you can download the output. That's going to be the same as if you were to download the file. But of course, it will have the differences that we made in terms of making the columns different to match the CRM output. So now if I exit out of that, and let's actually go into our CRM to see the output. So now we can see all of these people are now imported into my contacts. All right, so now I want to draw your attention to the import history. In the event an import goes wrong, you are able to undo any import made by accessing the import history. So what you're going to do is you're going to click open your CRM, and you want to click on the gear icon to go to setup. Once you're here, under data administration, we can see import. Click that, and that's going to bring you to the import tab. If you click import history that's on the top, now you can see all of your imports. So anytime you import from a file, you can actually just undo that import if you would so like. You can also check some of the import details as well. Just a note, import details can only be viewed within 2 weeks of the import. So after 2 weeks, you can't really see those notes anymore. And also, imports can only be undone within 30 days of importing. After 30 days, you can't undo that import. Lastly, I want to guide you to the deduplication and merge records in Zoho CRM. So as I mentioned before, data prep may not be the best at being able to deduplicate records. However, you can do this in Zoho CRM. So to do this, go to the module where the data was imported. For us, that's contact. So we are starting in this contact module. Next, you want to choose a field that you are going to identify duplicates with. So choosing a good field here is important. You want to consider choosing a column that should not ever be null and will be a good enough indication of whether or not the record is a duplicate or not. If there isn't something that satisfies this requirement, then maybe consider multiple fields. So just to show you a little bit more, on the top right corner of that module, you can see actions. Click on the drop down, then you can see do duplicate contacts. I can't really show you more because it's not available in my edition. This is just a free account. But if you were to do that, you would then need to choose a field to identify where the duplicates are. And as I said, you can choose multiple if one doesn't match. And then once you choose, you can select find and merge. Zoho will process the records in the background and eventually get back to you through one of those like pop-up notifications things. And you can click into that, and then you'll be able to resolve all of the conflicting records. So there you can actually go through records that maybe conflict with merging details, and you would be able to choose what details you want to keep. It is a bit of a manual process, so you do want to make sure that you are either actively going through and making sure that you're deduplicating records or having better data.